Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to do a quick review of Jeff Zananiri's calendar stocks, also known as monthly money flows. And so I've talked about this in a couple other videos, but this service is really just getting started for me. So I bought it probably a month or so ago. So this is really the first trade that I've been able to monitor and see how it does in real time. So I've looked at his track record and it's fantastic. This guy turned $5 million into $700 million at his hedge fund, which was really extraordinary. And I do think that's one of the keys to success in trading is following the people that have actually turned, relatively small amounts of money into big amounts. Like 5 million still a lot, but still turning it into 700 million is insane. Obviously, there's no way to absolutely verify that this is true. Unlike with Nate Baer, who is also one of my favorite traders, he turned 37,000 into 2.7 million in just 4 years. And so that's verifiable though. So he's shown his tax returns and brokerage accounts over and over to numerous people over the years, especially people that employ him or have him on their team. So I would definitely recommend Nate Baer's Profit Surge Trader. I'll leave a link in the description below. This one is a trade a week, or sometimes he gives up to 3 trades every Monday, and they're often really good. So he had a great quarter one. Almost every trade was a winner. It was insane. Then we had a few pullbacks on the market pullback. We had a few drawdowns, between 3 and 5 trades that were not strong at all. That were real losers, and hopefully that's not put too many people off because I still believe this strategy is super profitable over the long run. So definitely go and check out my Nate Baer Profit Surge Trader review. There's a full 365-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee, which really makes this attractive to a lot of people because you can try it. And I've verified that people are getting their money back if they want it back. One guy said that he tried to get his money back and got it back within a few days very easily. No questions asked, just you're welcome back. So they do give their money back if you're not feeling the system. Now, of course, you don't want to just claw your money back as soon as there's a losing streak. You want to continue with the strategy with really well thought out position sizes, maybe smaller if you're a bit worried that things are not going so well. The problem is people get shaken out on 3 or 4 losses in a row, and then they end up, wanting their money back or quitting and trying something else. You got to stick with it. This guy had a full winning quarter in quarter one, so definitely check it out. There's a limited time deal. They keep changing the price. At the moment, if you go to the link here, it's $179 for a whole year, which is ridiculously crazy because that's, even if you use just like 2 contracts or something, that'll be like 1 week's winning easily. So definitely check it out. I'm trying to keep a track record in here as well, and you can watch his own interview as well. I interviewed him myself. It was a really fun interview. It's in here as well. So definitely check this out. It's probably my top recommendation for people that are looking for just a couple of trades a week. So learning how he trades, which is really important, and you can end up trading by yourself without having to rely on his due diligence because his strategy is fairly easy to pick up. Anyway, enough about Nate Baer. Let's talk about Jeff Zananiri a little bit more here. So this service is a lot cheaper. It's only $49, which is amazing. But you only get 1 trade at the start of every month. But 1 trade is enough, right? Quality over quantity often trumps, the whole system is much easier to follow because you're only taking 1 trade. So people get a bit like, oh, it's not much. But $49 is nothing. And I'll show you could have already easily made that back with just 1 contract on this month's stock. So this month's stock actually came out on the 3rd, and the trade was on QCOM. So let me just pull up my email here. Let's see. Go into my email and I'll pull up the actual trade, which is in this email right here. So May trade was this one. So this is the actual email that comes out at the start of the month. Now this is this guy's strategies. Basically, he takes a trade at the start of every month because he used to work on Wall Street. That's where he got his 5 million to 700 million hedge fund going. And he understands that there's a lot of institutional investing at the start of the month for things like pension funds and all this type of stuff. And so he looks at the institutional money flow as well as other things, but so that basically saying the stock is technically breaking out this week. This was a few weeks ago now. It's the 17th, so this came out pretty much 2 weeks ago today. And so he says one of the top stocks in the Nasdaq to start May is QCOM. And by the way, I normally don't do this. I don't normally reveal trades that are in play, but this one's moved up so much that really, like, you're not really getting any advantage here. compared to the subscribers. Subscribers were in much lower. So this is something that I might do with this service, is just update like mid-month or when there's a big move in it, so that you guys can decide whether you want to purchase or not. Anyway, QCOM is poised to have a big month with semiconductor stocks back in focus and all eyes on NVDA earnings later in the month. QCOM has many fundamental tailwinds with the federal government backing semiconductor funding. So there's this kind of thesis, and then there's a thesis that he uses a lot, which is the institutional money flow, hence the fact that the program's called monthly money flows or calendar stocks, because they tend to happen at the start of every month, so usually within a few days of each other. So he talks about that a little bit, and then it's very simple. You get the ticker, so you get to trade the stock if you want. So he gives a price limit for the stock to buy with a target and the duration. He also gives the option plays, which are often really, really good. And I've looked through the track record, and it's solid. The only time it struggled a little bit was in the last couple of plays, but the rest of them have been really pretty solid. So I really do recommend the service. It's really easy to get started. Basically, all you have to do is come to the link in the description below, scroll down, and you can listen to the interview with Jeff all about his strategy right here. So you can go and buy this service. And again, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by a lot. So you can see right here, 236% compared to 32% since the program inception. So really worth it. This guy seems to be the real deal to me. Let's have a look at the trade now. So if we go to QCOM right here, the alert, this is a 4-hour chart, so you can see the dates hopefully along the bottom here. This is like 2 days, so this is the 6th, the 8th, the 13th, the 15th. So hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's hard sometimes on YouTube to see the exact days, but here's Friday the 3rd. This is when the alert came out, so you can see in my email, Friday the 3rd, May 3rd, 2024. Pre-market, so it's possible to get in at a really nice price if you try to get in here round about this 178 mark, and his recommendation was anything below like 185. So look at this thing. So it just is basically just trended up, and it's just in a sort of flag pattern at the moment. At the top here, the contracts were worth about $8, which is crazy because when you bought in they were actually only 450 max, so they were about, I looked, they were about 420, so this is almost doubled at its peak already. And look at what he's targeting. He's targeting 15, which is a 300% gain. But I would start trimming if I was in this trade, and I'm not in it yet because I'm still assessing the program. But if I was in this trade and it had already almost doubled, not quite, but almost, I'd be taking some off, that's for sure. But you know, if the contracts are $450, well, actually, it wasn't 450. They were about 4. So if they were $400 each and you had one contract, you've already made $400, which is almost 10 times the cost of the program for the entire year. So the play's not even done yet. So that's pretty cool. So I'd definitely be trimming at this point, locking in that $400 profit if you were in this trade. And you can see like we're starting to push up here. By the way, these markings on here, these indicators are Algo Pro. You guys probably know that I use Algo Pro quite a bit. So Algo Pro is an indicator system where you can see it's confirming that an entry of 180 would actually be a good point here. And you can see this is working out really well, and that we're definitely in a bullish formation here. So you can start to see this candle moving up. Maybe we push back up to highs here, and we start to see those contracts for the calls go up further. If I go to my Tasty Trade account right here, let's refresh this. I'll show you the 190 contracts. So the 190 contracts here, they were around $4. He's targeting 15 on them, which I think is very aggressive. We'll see if it gets there, and I'll continue to do an update video on this trade to see if we ever actually make it to that 15. I don't think we will. I think the idea here would be to trim some for sure, if not just to exit the position, because that's pretty good. So the 21st is this one, 190s. So you can see they're at 710 at the moment. So that's like 80% profit so far since the entry, and we're still looking pretty good. So overall, like, I'm pretty impressed with this service. I think it's something you should definitely look into. $49 is nothing. Like, it's for these sort of easy to follow alerts. And so if you're tired of sitting at your desk and you're tired of day trading like a crackhead, and you really want to like just sit down, get some really good trades just once every 3 weeks or so, usually they last 2 or 3, 4 weeks at the most, and just sit there and swing trade these, especially given the strength of the market now. The idea here is that you don't really have to do a whole lot of work, and you just kind of collect the monthly money flows. So yeah, make sure you check out the link in the description below. It'll take you to the full calendar stocks review. The name is monthly money flows, but they also call it calendar stocks, so don't be confused by that. If you go down, you'll see like I've put his whole history. So I've also put like where he started in Wall Street. That you learned from Alan S. Greenberg, and he was one of his guys that was trained up by him, and so he's a wealthy guy. I mean, if you turn 5 million of clients' money into 700 million, you're going to get well compensated for that. So he's kind of broken away from Wall Street and started his own business these days. But I don't blame him. It's going to be a lot more chilled out than working on Wall Street, right? So he was actually interviewed, and that's where, if you go and click on these links, he was actually interviewed by a guy I know pretty well called Ben Sturgill. So you can see him right here. You guys that are familiar with Raging Bull probably know Ben. And so he interviewed him, and he did a pretty good job interviewing him, I think, going through the different parts of the strategy. Ben's a good trader by himself, and I think he did a really good job interviewing Jeff Zananiri on these monthly money or calendar stocks. And so in this review, I've put in a lot of the different details for the different trades. So you can see he's had some big winners, 200%, 85%. We're already at 85% on this latest one, and it went as high as 100% almost. So 400%. So you can see why he's kind of keen to hold, even though he's got quite ambitious targets for these. So of course, you're responsible for your own trades, so you have to sort of say, okay, maybe 70% or 80% I'm happy with, because a lot of them do that. See this one right here, August 8th entry, 71% within the month. Now the idea is to hold it just for a month, but sometimes if things are not working out, you might issue an alert or an update saying like keep holding, and you'll give us thesis why you want us to keep holding. And so it's your choice whether you play the stock. Sometimes the stock does better than the options do, so you got to be careful about that. I put a little snapshot of his results in the review here too. I can only put the closed trades, so I did that. Did a video before about this, so you can check that out on this page as well. And then there's all the bonuses and everything you get, and my conclusion for the service. So definitely check this out. I think it's something that you guys will find really useful. I know a few people signed up for it already, but I think it's an underrated service at the moment, especially if you just want to add a little something to your arsenal of trading alert services and products. So hopefully that's helpful, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon.